And welcome back to the Nothing Show. In this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about mental health. It's been a continuing theme amongst my show. I think it's important to do it right now. At first, I know I'm a few days behind. I've been really busy making money the hard way. I've also been making it passively. Bitcoin's been on a big run, so that's been a huge plus. But I've also been working really hard. Like I said, my boss is planning on retiring, so we're doing a whole bunch of work right now, and now he's going to be gone for 2 weeks. So I'll be able to refocus my attentions on the show and get this thing moving again in the right direction and making more fun and entertaining content for your enjoyment. So this Simone Biles thing, I mean, for the most part, I felt like people get it, that her mental health is more important than what she does in the Olympics. And I'd like to start this by saying when they had to change the rules because you were so much better than everyone else in the world, at that point you became the greatest of all time. You didn't have to do it at this Olympics. You were already there, so no problem. I just find it so ridiculous that they started deducting points from her elements because they knew no one else could do them, and it just made the sport look bad. So when they have to change the rules of the game so that the other kids can play with you, you won. So, in my mind, no big deal. And I'm glad she did it. It's a stand for mental health. It's a stand for all kinds of people out there that get pushed into things that they otherwise would probably choose not to do, but because of the pressures of all the things around them, they go with it anyways, and it can lead to disastrous effects. We see all these young athletes that have their careers ended because, they pushed too far. And then we tie in this idea of being a winner. It's just so ridiculous. It's a piece of metal on a ribbon. Give me a break. It's not worth your whole future. I take exception for professional athletes. They chose that. They're getting paid an enormous amount of money to do that. So I expect professional athletes, the NFL and NBA and baseball, yeah, those guys got to go out there and they got to push through injury, and because they're making a ton of money and it's what they signed up for. Amateur athletes that are 16, 17, 18. I know Simone was a little older than that. It's the second Olympics and all that, but most gymnasts are, in the peak at 16, and 99% of Olympic athletes go on to other careers outside of their sport. So it's just fine to take a step back and say, I'm not going to risk permanently injuring myself because I know my head's not right. And this Trump coming out and saying it's due to wokeism. And I guess I could have to do more research on what exactly wokeism is. But if wokeism, it means that we're now paying attention to our mental health, to disenfranchised groups, to the minorities, and the way our society affects them specifically, then yeah, great. It's due to wokeism. We don't care so much about a blue ribbon and a piece of tin. We care about people. And if that's wokeism, yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, it's kind of silly. That was a ridiculous statement. Anyway, so that's kind of where I stand with there. So yeah, mental illness. And we were talking about this earlier in my last show with Richardson, Sha'Carri, with Sha'Carri Richardson just a couple weeks ago, that, she was in a mental crisis. She wasn't able to be at her full capacity to make good decisions. And like I said, when you're in these crises, you're trying to survive. You're not at your, you don't have the capacity to always make the right, correct decision. So people got to get a little more educated on mental health before harshly criticizing somebody that did, quit a game, and think about it too. Like, I find it funny that we all like connect to these athletes like, huh, we're from the same country, we went to the same country. Like, you had nothing to do with it. You didn't drive them to practice. You didn't put in the work. You didn't sacrifice your life. You just tuned in one night on TV, and all of a sudden their victory is your victory. It's just so ridiculous to me. I am proud of our athletes, of course, but it's their accomplishments. It's their medals. It's not mine. Just because we went to the same country. Give me a break. So yeah, but side note, Delaney Schnell won silver medal in diving. She's a local Tucson athlete that was friends with my kid. So um, again, her accomplishment. Uh, I'm proud of her, but more importantly, she should be proud of herself and the people that actually, put in the time and effort and energy to make it happen. Coaches and parents and friends, and not just because I watched it happen on TV. I have no part of that. Figure it out. Anyway, let's move on. You want to hear a story about what happened to me last night? I just got my car fixed, my Chrysler. It had been down for a few months. Let me tell you the story of that too. It's kind of funny. So, this was like I said, a few months ago. Car gets parked. Go out the next day to get in to drive the car. Car won't go into gear. Push on the brake. Car won't go into gear. It's in the center console gear shifter. So what do I do? Well, it just must be stuck, or I'm not pushing in the brake hard enough, and just give it a little nudge and it's going to go into gear. It'll all be fine. Maybe it wasn't. So if you lean into your gear shifter hard enough, you can just break it all to shit. And so I did that. It turns out that there's like this little cable. It's like a bicycle cable that when you step on your brake, that cable pulls and that disengages the lock that locks out your gear shifter. So you can shift into gear. It's an $8 part. It's a pretty easy replacement. You could have probably, after I smashed it all to pieces, I realized you could have probably just clipped it back in and been fine. But sometimes, like after I broke it, I went and did the research and found out how to fix it. So anyway, $1,000 later, I got a new gear shifter, but the car was down for a little bit. I just didn't want to drop the money into it because I choose to spend my income in other places. And I had another car running. I had 2 other cars running at the time, so no big deal. But now it's fixed. But what I forgot to realize, because I'm not so smart, is that it doesn't matter in Arizona if you have $50 windshield wipers or $20 windshield wipers. They go through a summer, they're done. They will fail. So my windshield wipers has sat out there in the summer, all summer, rotted to hell. And the monsoon, for whatever reason, has finally come back to the Arizona desert, and we just get rained on every single day now. We've gotten 8 inches of rain in this month alone. So I'm driving home last night, and again, I just got my car fixed. It's been like this day 2, and I had forgotten that my windshield wipers are totally shot and that it's monsoon season, and I'm driving down the freeway trying to get home, and sure as enough, this monsoon rolls in on us, and it's like just coming down. And first of all, like I turn on the windshield wipers, and it's like gravel on my windshield, right? I hadn't even cleaned the windshield. It's just been like accumulating dust and dirt for months. And so it's like, finally all the dust and dirt washes off the windshield. And then it's just, the little floppy piece of windshield wiper. And I probably should have just pulled over or gone to AutoZone and bought some and stood out there in the rain and put on new windshield wipers. And like, I know how to put on windshield wipers, but every car is a little bit different. They have, they give you a little assembly block that you sometimes either have to take pieces off or add pieces to. And again, I maintain 3 vehicles, and so I never remember which vehicle has which assembly for the windshield wiper. And again, when the rain's coming down, in buckets, you don't want to be standing outside trying to figure all that out. It was late, the sun was down. So I just push it, and I ended up on the freeway in a potentially very dangerous situation where it was 0 visibility. Even with probably good windshield wipers, it doesn't matter when it's coming down, a woman's hate, just buckets and buckets of rain. So I right as that happened, I was getting off on my exit, pulled over into the Family Dollar or something, Burger King, right next to Burger King, and just sat there and let it pass a bit. But pretty scary for a minute. I was out there. I don't even know if the fanciest Rain-X windshield wipers would have done a bit of good in this situation. It was coming down so hard, but I certainly set myself up for failure by not having installed a new set of windshield wipers, which you should do like every year after your wipers have gone through a summer in Arizona. It was just a dummy error on my part, and I almost paid the price. But I didn't. We got through it. I remained calm, slowed down, took my time, and then, got off the road when it really felt like it was kind of dangerous. So anyways, that's my story. Hey, I got to get to work. I want to wrap this up. It's a short episode today. Again, I got some time coming where we're going to dive into some more interesting topics and get this thing going again. I'm really looking forward to it. It's always a pleasure. Till next time, peace.